So I started with this part. Okay, so it will be having with the contents before transfer. Similarly, it will be having with the contents after uh, block transfer. Right? So that will separate with this. So before and what this will get as after transfer. The block contents after transfer. What are the presentation part? It is there. So here we need to have with that properly to get with the data. Right. So similarly, we'll be having with the source block content and destination block content. So for that reason, we need to do the same. Source block. This not C will take. Okay, so it will be a content that is we are going to have with the whenever we have entered, so that content will display it, right? Source block content. So as it is when we are going to have the source content, so that will display it. Okay. Similarly, it will be done for destination block content. So destination message. Okay, so it will be having with the content. It might be after this transfer, right? So what content which you are having, so we need to display that first. Okay, so we'll take as a static input as a tool. So we'll take it as a source block. Matrix content, we'll take it as in the form of pipes. Okay, so we'll take it as in 0, 1, 0, 2, x value, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's all it will be with the x value. So, and destination block, it will be having it as in we are taking it as in 0, right? So as it will be having with the 5 elements, so we'll take instead of this 0, we can have one more thing. We can add times 0. Okay, so 5 times 0 for this. Okay, so that it will be destination block content because we need to identify what changes it is having. So it will be referring these 5 times. Okay, so what values which you are having. So that will be displayed the content. This 5 times 0. So this it will be the contents. So we'll take with the count for elements to retrieve one by one element. It requires 2 more variables, so that will also required. Some additional cells. Okay, so it will be just initialization. Okay. So with the BSS section, so we start with the macro first. With the macro. So here will be also required with the macro with the I think we can take it as the same, right? Input output macro, but here we need to have with the some changed value with the 32-bit value. So we'll take it with a separate macro which is having with the displaying a message. Okay, display the content, and another is for accepting a value. If it will be having with the, we'll take with some changes in the existing program. So in that case, we'll take it as an accepting input source. Okay. So we'll take both separately. Display message with the two or move ex move ex. So intentionally we are taking it as for this 32-bit. So it will be having a with a few changes. So we will get with these also. Okay, so up till now, most of the programs that we have seen, it is of a 64-bit value. So we will do it with the help of 32 bits. Okay. Percent 2. And for this it will be having 80H. That is it is like a system call. Okay. Right. So this is end of the Mac. Similarly, we'll take it for accepting, right? So we'll make some changes if possible. So for that, we'll take it another macro with the accepting the values also. Okay, so if it required, we'll make the changes, right? So might be true for we can use it for further usage. Okay. Now for reserve space, okay, when you are going to take it as an option from the input, so it will be having with the option with the choice, whatever the choice we are going to take it as an input. Okay, and click some display size, display the content. Okay. So this much it will be just required with the some initialization. It's initialization with the variable. We'll start with the actual code, right? So this it will be a for non-overlapping we are saying it. Okay, so we'll get it into a two separate half. Okay, one for the non-overlapping and another is for overlapping. Okay. We will start. We'll have with the first message. So display message for the macro. Let's say before transfer whatever value which you are having. Be a path message, right? So I think let be a formation that is a block content before transferring the content, right? So that message will display first. Okay, so here will be using with the content will display it, whatever the input static input which you have taken, message underscore length. Okay, so that will be why we are using this, because once we'll take it as an input from the user also, so it might be having with a different value, and you need to display that value, and then we'll get for this switching. Okay, so or transferring these. Okay. So we need to display these elements, right? So and for that, whatever the source element is there, so we'll retry that. Okay, so and then we'll get with the choice. Okay, so one by one contents we need to display, right? So for that purpose, we'll use one method or procedure which we can have, right? And then we'll get it for the menu. So what contains it will be having that elements will display, and then we'll get it for the message. Okay. So whatever it is, that will include it as in the form of input. Okay. So this show method, we call it somewhere, okay, which will be returning the controllers. Okay. So then we'll come to the menu. Okay. So here also we'll display with the first menu, display message, menu message, comma, message underscore length. Okay, so it will be having with some buffer input, right? So as we have taken it as a 4 times 0 value, right? So displaying with the value, and after that we need to compare whatever the input which has been given, right? So either that it can be done with help of macro, right? So for that we'll use it except option which we are giving it as a choice. Okay, so that is a we are using it as an 1, 2 choice, right? So we'll take that as an input. Right, so we'll compare that whether it is a choice 1 or 2, right? So switch case option which we have used, option dot, right? So here we'll take it as in the form of input, right? So choice, so we can put not first, then go to the choice 2, right? It is 1, then call for the, that is your first option, right? So here we are taking it as an first option, that is a block, sorry, that is this choice, right? So block transfer without string and block transfer with string, right? So then you need to call, if it is not case 1, then it will be selected with the case 2, but if it is case 1, if it's not equal, then you need to call for method. It's our procedure, we are calling that as an without string. Okay. And if not, then we need to get it for exit case. Okay. So that it will be first, we'll create the outline. Right. So second choice, same, it will be having with the content, right? So it will be having with the comparing with the choice. So already we have taken it as an input. So most of the times what we are having it as a repetition part, we'll make just changes in this. Right? So it is for is 3 option 2, instead of without, it is a with string. Okay, so that option we enter. So exit, I think again with the same name, right? So exit, it will be system call. So for this we get an exit. Okay, because exit is default label which will be for default condition. So for that we'll use it as an exit 1. Okay, and next it is for some bad input if you are given. In that case we'll compare that also. Okay. But for that we need to have with some different option for this. Okay, means what, from the given input, if you are given with some wrong input, then it will be jump if equal with the exit. Okay, now this it will be a your exit system call. Okay, and if it will be continuing with the message, you need to display that message also. Display message as a macro with we are giving WR message, right? So wrong choice. WR message. WR message and its length. So once it will be done for this, right? right? So if it will be having with the choice, so we need to check with the once again choice. So this it will be goes on continuing with the loop. If you are getting it as an exit, once it has been exit, yes, it has been found, right? So that it will be your case one. You need to display with that message with the content. Okay, so because it will be we need to at least display with the content what input we are given. So we'll display with that message. So display message. Okay. For message, right? Second, for message. Let's go length. Okay, so then it will be getting the contents after performing it, right? So every time we are called with this jump for exit one, that is, if it has been got with the choice proper input, we display the content and will display with the elements, right? So we'll make once again for the show. So for displaying the elements, what are the elements are. Okay. So it will be having with some message, right? So with the values, right? So display message for this will add one more variable for this. Okay, because once these elements it has been identified, or we can say it as it has been transferred. So just let me check with this. Yes. Okay, so we'll declare with that variable. Right, so overall, all the elements that it will vary. With the size as 10, right? So here we're taking the overall 5 elements. So we'll display with these all elements. This is right. So this it will be display with these messages, and then we'll end it with this loop. The exit system call. So this is a system call for exit with move ax, 0 1, move vx, 0. It is having with the, so right. So in the 64-bit we are passing with the value of 60 or 0. Right. So here we are calling it as for 32-bit. So we need to make a appropriate values. We are going to pass for these appropriate. Okay, so this is a contents. Okay. Next, what we need to have, we need to get with these contents. We need to display these values. Right. So one by one, content with the source and destination both it will be having. Right. So when we are going to display this content, right? So we have got with the choice whether it is a choice one or choice two. So we'll get with these elements, but before to that, we need to display this element, right? So it will be pointing with the RDI to destination. Okay, so we'll first get with these contents with the display block. Contents how we are going to have. Okay, okay. So this will take more method display block. Okay, and what it will be, it will move the content, right? So with a one by one element to RCX content, right? Because if you need to take it in the RCX, and then we'll point it to the one by one content to the stack. Okay. So for that again we'll take one more function called procedure, right? So which will be having a contents of this RCS. Okay. Now we'll take one by one element for this, whether it is for first half or second half with the ESI. Okay, and whether it is 8-bit or 16-bit, depending on that, we'll make a display for conversion. Okay. So that will be our main logic, right? So we need to have the increment with ESI one by one element. Check with that, right? Display message if it is having some characters, if it will be having, right? Space. Okay, we have given it a name for this variable. Characters. Right, so it will be having with the values which are greater than 9. Okay. And after doing this, we'll take one by one element. Right, so this it will be a loop which will be continued till all the elements will display. Okay, or it will be pointed, which will be referred, right? So and this display block, it will be return the control, right? So return means what, where it has been got called for this block. Okay. Display block function, right? So which will be having with the when you are going to have it as showing the elements which will be done at that time. Okay. So display function or it will be sorry, identify these elements we need to get for the okay. So we'll be having the elements. So what elements are there for without transfer, and WS it is for with string, and we'll now write it for the content or show, right? So because once it has been called for displaying the block, we'll actually show with the elements. So okay, so display message with the content, source content, src message, src message underscore length, right? So we'll move the content which we have saved in a source block, right? So in the src source block, so once it has been retrieved, right? So what it is expected, we need to call for the display. The definition which you have written it before this, right? So it will be called for the source content first, right? So one by one it will be moved. Okay. Then it will be same for destination block. So BSP message with DST message, DST message underscore length. So here also we have one by one content which will be from destination block. So it will be at the last. So once it has been bought with the element, and for every element it will be checking whether it will be with the value which is greater than 9. Okay, so that actual logic we are not done, but at least we have called for the method, right, or procedure. If it is audible, there is some interrupt the call. right? Now for this we'll write with the actual definition, right? But for this we need to get with the element which are called for this 9. Okay, so we'll get with the actual definition for this, and then we'll come to this last part, that is the elements which are greater than 9. Okay, so we can display it. So we'll get it for one by one element. Right, so here we'll be having with the most of the part for displaying the content. Okay, because we are displaying the content two times. Okay, so that is a before transfer, after transferring, and source content and destination contents. Okay, so with string or without string, so both options that it will be having with the, so first condition, if it will be having, then we'll have with the source block content first will move, and we have with the destination block, which is, or it will be pointing with the destination content. So we are having destination, it will be 0 0 at the start, right? So that it will be just replaced, so both values will be filling it as the same, right? So but we need to check the help of message, what message is having. Now when you will be having with the elements, it will be put it in some loop. We'll take with some name this with the loop x, right? So it will be having with some operations. So what operations it will be having? That is lower bit and higher bit. So we need to check, pass these values which are there in the ESI of 0 go to ED. So that is a direct transfer, as will be having with the no common elements for this. Increment with the value of ESI and increment with the EDS. That is a both the pointers. So it will be replacing with the values and until all the elements it has been done. Right? So it will be having with the simple logic, just trying to transfer one by one element. Okay, so one it will be pointing it with the ESI and another is with the EDI. Okay, so two different indexing values we have to refer it. Okay, so this it will be for without string. With string also it will be having with the, change it with a few part. The move same ESI with the source block, then move EDI destination block, move ECX, comma. Okay, so it will be expected that with string, when we are going to have, that is for non-overlapping, we need to get it for the direction flag. So that is the one more key point that here we need to remember. Okay, so what is the key point? We need to have with the set. If it has been set for the clear direction flag, we need to do the reset for this. Right, so how it will be done? That is a just CLD. That is a clear direction flag. So that is the one change it will be having, and we need to have, if it is done with this string part, so move SB. So this it will be contingent. Right, so once for every element which has been displayed. Right, so that it will be only part we need to have, because here with string as it will be having, it will copies all the elements. Right, so it will be called for the show method and goes on continue. Right, so it will display the element. Right, so it will be called for the display with the message. Right, so destination block. Right, and once it has been called, right, so we are able to have the show method only with which is displaying with the source block. We need to have it for the destination block and so on. Right, so the show will add for after displaying a message, call for display block and so on. Okay, so it will be continuing and it will display with the destination block. Okay. BIS display block, right? So it will be for a content which we are going to display, right? So it will be for overall 16-bit, we can say it as, for remaining 8-bit, right? So for a 64-bit, we are thinking it about the 32-bit, lower 16-bit and higher 16-bit. As we are referring it for 32-bit, we need to refer it for values which are 8-bit, what values it will be having, right? So for that, right, with the last part for this display 8, right? So I think we have called for this procedure, right? So where we have called for this after content for this. So destination content and source content which we are in cx, 02, right? Buffer size will take, right? And we need to check it here whether it is a greater than 9 or less than 9. It is as like your function, or we'll take with one more loop for this. Okay, so it will be continuous till for every element. Okay. BL with 4, AL with 8, which are there in the AL. Then the ending with this with 0H. So if it is disconnected, you can rejoin with the same link. So jump it below. Some another loop. So let's do some meanings. And if not, make add for this. Right? Next we have, right? If not, then add it with 30th edge. That is the values which are greater than 9 or less than 9. If it is below and if it is less than 9. So it will be converting it for the ASCII while displaying also. Okay, so that's okay. We will increment it